Happy Friday, and thanks for tuning into today's episode of Unpop Opinion with your girl Nkem. As you can see, the environment's a bit different. We traveled for the weekend for a friend's wedding, so how fitting to talk about this topic. As you can see from the captions, it's about surnames and what that change looks like for certain couples when they do decide to get married. So fun fact for all of you, in case you didn't know, Japan is, at the current moment from my research, the only country where it is illegal for a married couple, so a couple that's now legally bound in holy matrimony, or just matrimony, but legally bound in matrimony, for them not to have the same surname. So if you get married, I believe there's a window, and within that time, you need to come to the conclusion that you're going to walk around with the same last name. If not, you can be in prison. And so I was reading that story and I thought to myself, this needs to be a topic. And so I recently got married, and at the current moment, I don't plan on changing my last name.
Jesus,
it's a hard pill for a lot of people for some reason to swallow. That doesn't mean maybe a few years from now that I'm not going to change my last name. It just means at this current moment, I don't plan on it. And for me, it stems from my culture, my love for what my last name represents. I'm going to insert my name right there. My last name is, or my surname is Adeshola, which Ade means crown. Shola, I don't want to lie to you guys. I'll insert some more information. But it's royalty, it's regal. And with my last name, you can now pinpoint what part of Nigeria I'm from. So you know what region I hail from, or at least my father. And it just speaks volumes. And for me, my first name is very English. And so when people meet me for the first time and they see my name, that is a conversation starter. And it just really warms my spirit because I'm very proud of my lineage, my heritage. And through my last name, without having to say anything, I'm able to represent and showcase that. And so my husband, he's from Tanzania, so the opposite side of the continent, the east side. However, I like his last name. It's very lovely. It has oomph and power, but just not the power that I currently want to change. And so we've had this conversation, and I think when it comes to relationship, you have to be honest with each other. Yes, tradition says one thing. Historically, women and children were considered property, so that's where that culture came from or evolved from here in the States. However, that doesn't mean that has to be your norm if that's just not what you want. And so with our relationship, that's something he really would like, something I'm not super fond of. And I don't think in a relationship you should ever be pressured or guilted or made to feel uncomfortable because of your decisions. I think there's a level of respect. You love the person, not because of their name, but for who they are. So you just have to take the time to really step back. And while you may not agree, that's okay. Just respect one another's opinions. And I think also just being mindful of how sensitive it may be for certain people. It's not their name, but to them, that change in naming convention represents so much more. But you shouldn't have to sacrifice your feelings for anyone else. Life is short. And so I'm not choosing to do that, at least not right now. Doesn't mean, like I said, years from now I won't change my name, but at the current moment, that Yoruba name is going strong. So I really want to just talk about this real quick. In certain cultures, I would also know, I believe in South America, there are certain cultures where the children take on the mother's last name, just because of that matriarchal setup and culture that exists. So it varies from region to region. I had a professor in college who, with his wife, combined both of their last names. So they didn't create a new last name, they combined their last names, where it was his surname hyphen her last name. And one time I made the mistake of just dropping the first last name and saying the last one. He's like, no, my last name is blank blank. And I said, sir, I am sorry. I will put some respect on your name, okay? So I think there are just different ways to go about it. You can create a new name, you can hyphenate it, have those discussions, but I don't think people should pressure anyone into making such a big change. I remember having conversations with people with regards to, if you're a lawyer, doctor, an engineer, and you've reached a certain status, then you should definitely not ever consider. I'm not a lawyer, doctor, or engineer. I've reached status in my mind, and I don't feel like I should be expected to change my name. Like when I've also had those interactions with people, those conversations where they're like, oh, so when are you changing your name? Not, oh, are you changing your name? We've already been programmed to assume that that's what is expected of the woman. And that's not to say that it's wrong, but I think we should be more open to the idea that some women just may not change their name. And let's have that sort of conversation instead of immediately going to status quo. This is what's always been happening. And I'm not here to rock the boat. You know, tradition is lovely. So some pieces of tradition I do admire. However, this piece your girl's not with. So I don't know, just wanted to put my point out there for those who are thinking about it. Have those conversations with your partner, because ultimately it's up to you guys. And don't ever feel like you are pressured or guilted. Like I said, it's your name. When there's roll call, when people are calling out for you, you have to answer to that name. So you want to be proud and excited and pumped to say, yes, that's me, or Jesus, people are saying that name again. I don't like that name. So have those conversations, be honest, be open, and if it is a sensitive topic, just hold true to what you want to do and refrain from maybe talking about it as frequently, which is something I did a lot of. I was like, why do you feel that way? But he's entitled, and he doesn't really have to give me too much explanation. But as long as he's willing to respect my opinion, which I truly admire and really appreciate, I think that's all I can ask for. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's unpopular opinion. You learned a new fact about Japan, you know, and let's keep the conversation going. Share down below what your thoughts are. Are you connected to your last name? What is your reason for maybe wanting to change your last name, or maybe not change your last name? You know, let's have that open space, and just honestly remember to respect one another and our opinions. We don't have to always agree, but we can agree to disagree. So thanks for tuning in, guys, to today's topic, and I'll catch you next week on another episode of Unpop Opinion. Bye.